I always like to begin with something super interesting, and so you have to come with me to Portofino, Italy. Yes, it's such a beautiful place. It's so beautiful that, well, you now can get a fine if you take a selfie there. That's right, I'm not joking. Here's the deal. The town has imposed what they call a no waiting zone to prevent people from lingering too long in the popular, beautiful spots so that they can just take a selfie. And they're not messing around, okay? The fine is $300 if you get caught breaking the rules. They say that the areas have become incredibly crowded with tourists during peak holiday season, and so no more selfies in Portofino, Italy. And those, for everybody who's still carrying that selfie stick on your travels, I just have one thing to say to you. I hope you take a long, hard look at yourself. You know that I even, when I wrote that, I cracked myself up. I know.
Right, giggling to yourself.
Hey, listen, it's Friday, and that means it's time for another exhilarating, exciting episode of Kim Komando Today. Now, this is not the Kim Komando Show. Yes, that's really great, too. And I host that on over 420 top radio stations throughout the U.S., and you can also hear us on American Forces Network Radio in 175 different countries and 200 ships at sea. That's our Monday through Thursday podcast. So get ready for another electrifying show because we have two powerhouses joining us. I like to call them the dynamic digital duo over at Komando.com. And first up, we have our amazing content queen, Allie Seligman. And Allie, what pearls of wisdom are you going to impart upon all of us today?
I've got good ones today. Big changes at a website I use quite a bit, Yelp, and then a smart way to help you save some money. And you don't even have to give anything up.
Ooh.
Just
Nice.
free money.
We love free money. Really, free money? I
Sure,
like that.
free money.
And then, of course, we have our magnificent millennial and our very own internet scout, Matthew Heffel. And Matt, what are you going to share with us today?
I'm going to talk about how millions of Chromebooks all over America are just dying, as well as a handy tip to speed up your PC. And then finally, we're going to talk about an online movement that's gotten really popular over the last 3 years.
Ooh, watch out for that one. And I know you want to take your love for the Kim Komando Today podcast to the next level. I just know you want to do that. Well, over on our YouTube channel, you can have a whole new dimension. That's right. We bring you our faces with all the action. That's right. You can watch us. Head over to youtube.com/Kim Komando and make sure that you subscribe so this way you never miss an episode. That's youtube.com/Kim Komando. All right, let's get started with the news. And I ran across this story from the Morning Brew. There's this guy by the name of Gary Stubblefield. Okay, Gary, he's a great guy. He's kind of like a local celebrity in Carl Junction, Missouri. He was the city alderman. He was a big-time realtor. He was a member of the Carl Junction Chamber of Commerce. I mean, this guy was all about town. He was always cooking burgers and dancing at events to raise money for whatever cause it was. Just, that all-around great guy. Now, sadly, he passed away in March. And his friends and family, they posted all kinds of memorials on Facebook. Obituaries ran in the local publications, on the local television news. I mean, this was a big guy around campus. And so you think, that's all you need to celebrate a life. Well, something else is happening. Gary's obituary is being posted all over YouTube. What? Okay, it's not a newscast. It's not from anybody who he knows. It's just a person talking into a camera reciting info about Gary's life. Kind of like a corporate ad. It's really kind of creepy. The narrator even asked the viewers to like and subscribe to their YouTube channel before and after reading the obituary. Okay. Here's what's happening is that people have figured out another way to make money on YouTube.
Oh my gosh.
That's right. And it's hard to say how much money that they're actually making. But the social media analytics company, Social Blade, they say that one channel is probably making anywhere between, say, $6,000 a year just reading obituaries.
What?
Isn't it just
so strange?
I know. It's like I'm sitting there, I'm reading this, like, what is this?
Yeah.
I mean, I just never thought that would be a thing. I mean, it's just kind of crazy. I mean, and, I actually saw an obituary on YouTube for the owner of the world's biggest stone quarry. And yeah, somebody said he left a deep hole.
Ouch.
Ouch. All right. So, Matt, Chromebooks. This is an interesting story because I don't think a lot of people realize what they buy when they buy a Chromebook.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wanted to start this story out by traveling back in time to that wonderful time of March 2020. Remember how great that was?
Loved it.
Oh, yes.
Loved it.
Yes.
Well, it was especially hard for
great.
schools because they had to send all their kids home and they were trying to do the whole school teaching from home kind of thing. To do that, all the kids had to have laptops or computers at home to be able to learn their lessons and continue to work. Well, one of the most inexpensive laptops out there that all these schools can afford was the Chromebook. So they bought over $3 billion worth of Chromebooks.
Whoa.
Yes, all across the country, different school districts, $3 billion worth of Chromebooks. Sent them all home, and then now they're finding that after 3 years, they're all starting to go bad. They're all starting
Okay,
to...
but we gotta put some context in
Yes.
this. Okay, Matt. Okay, $3 billion worth of Chromebooks.
Yes.
I don't have a calculator, and I can't do that heavy math in my head. But maybe you can do this, Allie. Okay, so you have $3 billion worth of Chromebooks. Let's say the average Chromebook was $150. Okay, so how
20
many
million Chromebooks.
Yeah.
Okay, that's 20 million. Oh my gosh.
That's a lot of computers.
It's a lot of computers that are now starting to go bad, and they're going to be losing all that money. So there was a recent study that was done that basically showed ways that they could help make these Chromebooks continue to last. But we'll get into that. So why are the Chromebooks failing in the first place? Well, it's one of two reasons. The first reason is that items for Chromebook are really hard to get. So certain schools around the school district or certain schools around the country were trying to find replacement keyboards. Now, half of them were not even able to find any in stock anywhere. They were nowhere to be found. Another third were able to find them, but they were marked up to $100 a piece just for the
You could
keyboard.
buy a new Chromebook for that.
Exactly.
We're in the wrong business.
Right? Right?
Chromebook accessories.
Now, the bigger
With a
issue,
K. We
though...
spell Chromebook with a K.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah. The bigger issue is that these Chromebooks actually have an expiration date on them. Yes, like milk or eggs or that old spaghetti that you've had in there for 4 days. It goes bad after a certain amount of time. Now, not everybody knows this. They don't look at the Chromebook and say, oh, it's a computer. It must expire, right? Your computer that you've had sitting since 1995 still turns on, but your Chromebook will die after 5 years, right? And that's what they're finding is that Google basically says that Chromebooks have an 8-year lifespan once they are, quote, certified. That doesn't mean once they're sold, it's once they're basically off the production line. So once schools get them and have them all serviced and get them out to kids, they usually have between a 4 and 5 year lifespan. So they're all coming to that end of that life. So what this research foundation said that what they would do would that the updates that are what is killing these Chromebooks, they need to be doubled. So they are signing petitions and getting all these different school districts across the country to ask Google to allow the Chromebooks to receive these updates for an extra 4 to 5 years, which would help these stay on the market for a lot longer, as well as start a ability to get the parts for affordable prices. So a lot of the times they will just sell these out to third-party salesmen and then they sell them out. But what this petition is asking is basically, hey, Google, can you make these replacement parts for these schools and sell them at a reasonable price so that we can keep these computers in these kids' hands?
Which, anybody wants to vote on what Google's going to do? Anyone? Yes or no? No, they're not going to do that.
No way. If they do it for
Yeah.
the schools, they have to do it for everybody. And
Right.
the whole point of a Chromebook, yeah, it's cheap, but it's only going to last you so long, and then you're going to buy a new one.
So I bought a Chromebook recently.
Dun, dun, dun.
And
And it expired.
I found the steps on how to check when your Chromebook will expire because it tells you right in the system. And we'll get those steps over on Commander.com. So if you have a Chromebook, you can find out when yours will die too. But I just bought it this year. I bought it from a third-party sale, but it's going to die in 2 years. It has 2 years left on its life.
I hope you didn't pay a lot of money for it.
I did, and I got a good deal on it, but still,
Still. Well, you'll have a really nice
2 years.
paperweight.
Yeah,
2
yeah.
years.
That's what I like about you, Allie. You know, you're always so
Yeah.
uplifting and positive.
That's
I mean, you
me.
can do something with that. You can. Well, you know what? That's good news. Make sure you put those steps up because I know a lot of folks are gonna be
Yeah.
like, I didn't know my Chromebook expired. So, Allie, Yelp, you're a Yelp queen, huh?
I love Yelp. Do you two use Yelp?
I do.
I do.
Yeah.
I get irritated though because it when you pull up something, it has like all those sponsored ads, and I'm like, I just really want to know about this restaurant.
Yeah, that is annoying. Also, hard to know what exactly you could trust, which we'll get into. I'm not a Yelp poster. I have never in my whole life added a Yelp review. I just read them. My favorite, before I go to any restaurant, I'm going to look at the Yelp because I want to see the pictures of the food. So,
Sure.
yeah, I'm just that person, right? I read the whole menu before I go somewhere. Yelp does not want to be left out of the AI conversation. So they are saying, wait, us too. They're using it to, this is nice, essentially recap what the reviews are saying so you don't have to scroll through pages and pages and pages. That's nice. Yeah. There is a new surprise me button. If you are, maybe you're indecisive, you don't know what you want to eat, you can pick surprise me and it'll suggest a highly rated place nearby.
Oh.
Maybe you can, save some marriages. And then you can also buy services through Yelp. I don't know if everyone knows this, but you can book a massage or you can landscaping, whatever. You can do all kinds of services. Now there is a $2,500 guarantee. So if the thing that you buy or book through that is crappy, didn't work, they didn't show up, whatever it is, Yelp will reimburse you, which is pretty nice. And my personal favorite, not because I'm going to do it, but because I want to watch them, you can now add videos to reviews. They can only be up to 12 seconds, but maybe a nice way to kind of see the vibe of a place. When you're like, what do I wear there?
Yeah.
Perhaps these 12-second videos will help us figure it out. Okay. I mentioned fake reviews, right? We know fake reviews are on every site.
Yeah, they are.
Yelp included. Yelp says they do so much to get rid of these fake reviews, and I'm sure they do. But listen to this. I found this article. A local NBC affiliate in the Bay Area decided to do an investigation. Back in 2006, I'm sure you've seen this on Yelp, when someone comments, they have a special little badge and it says Yelp Elite. You know
yeah.
this? Yeah. So they are real people. The slogan, real people, real reviews. Well, NBC looked into it and they contacted one of the elite reviewers who left a 5-star review on a moving company. He never used the moving company. He said a review broker
Oh my gosh.
wrote the review and paid him $30 to post it from his elite profile.
Oh.
He said, it was COVID. I was behind on my bills, and so I took it. He feels bad for it now, probably because he got caught.
You got caught.
Apparently, this is pretty standard practice. There are Facebook groups that now have been taken down. You can pay for reviews. A former Yelp elite said, I'm in this invite-only chat, and people can come in there and pitch us, $25 to $50, and we'll take their review and we'll post it on our profile. Yelp, of course, says these are strictly prohibited.
Yeah,
you can't
we don't
pay.
Sure.
Very rare for elites to do this. Apparently not.
Yeah.
And then my last note. So we all know, if you are tempted to do this, if you are a Yelp elite, fake reviews are illegal. Do you want to guess how much the Federal Trade Commission can penalize a company for every fake review?
Couple $100.
10 grand?
$46,000.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Each?
Really? Yeah, each
Whoa.
infraction.
Wow.
So no fake reviews. Don't do it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you just told me, so next time I go on Yelp and I see the Yelp Elite with saying how
Yeah.
great it is, I'm going to be like, let me see.
Sure.
Yeah. I left one Yelp review, I think. I
Hold
should
on,
go
let me
back and
guess.
check.
It's going to be a bad one, not a good one.
Oh, it was a bad one. It was a bad one. I left a good one because there's that place on 16th Street called Moto Sushi. Have you ever eaten there? Okay. All right. Oh my God. So good. So good. And they make the best faux soup, I swear, in the whole valley. And so I did leave that. And then there's an Italian restaurant that Barry and I went to here in Santa Barbara. And everybody said, oh, it's going to be so great. We went there. Honest to gosh. It looked like they went to Costco and they bought like the bags of raviolis. And I'm like, I think I have those in my freezer. I'm thinking. Yeah, it was pretty nasty. It was pretty nasty.
It's funny.
All right. So coming up, I'm going to tell you how you can identify birds with the help of AI. Matt has his great, simple, effective trick to speed up your PC you're going to love. Plus, if you're tired with dealing with all those annoying subscription fees, Allie has this great money-saving tip. And I have the joke at the end today.
And
I think I'm sticking with the obituary theme, just to let you know. And I think it's a good, I bet you it's an 8.5. I bet you it's yes.
Big day.
Yeah, I'm going big. I'm going big. So stay right where you are. Hey, we're so thankful that you're here, part of our whole Commando ecosystem, because you value fun and expert tech advice. So just don't listen to us. You want to read us, don't you? Make sure that you get our new newsletters called The Current, and you're going to join the ranks of over 400,000 folks just like you who already subscribe, and you're going to love it. And you can rest assured that you're always going to stay informed on the latest in the tech world. As a matter of fact, we're going to tell you things that nobody else is telling you yet. That's right, yet. I forget what it was we had in the newsletter the other day, guys, but it was like 3 days later, all of a sudden I'm like, it's on the top of every text site. I'm like, been there, did that, okay. You can sign up right now. Head over to getkim.com. Once again, that's getkim.com. All right, so this is part of the podcast where we like to pass along some fun tips. And as you know, many years I lived in Maui. And every morning there would be this bird that would come out and go like, squawk, squawk, squawk. I mean, as soon as the sun comes up over the island, and it was always like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, oh my gosh, make this thing stop. And then at night it goes, yeah. But, I generally love birds. That's actually called the common myna bird. It was that one. I mean, I have 6 hummingbird feeders in my yard.
Aww.
I do. I have this thing that Carrie put up for me. And you just fill it up with birdseed, and it's like 10 pounds of birdseed. And then Barry hates it because he said, I feed all the birds, and then they crap all over the pool. So that's that. When I lived at a house on Piestewa Peak, I think I told you this story once, is that my next door neighbors, Peter and Mary, and they were very nice people. And so, they were neighbors, you'd go have a glass of wine with. Yeah. And they were kind of, they were a little out there. Like one time I looked over and I was in the pool with Ian. I'm like, Ian, don't look, because Peter was watering the lawn and he was naked. And so one day I was walking with Mary and she said, hey, why don't you come over for dinner tonight? I was like, oh, that sounds good. So, like 6 o'clock, I call her up and I said, hey, so what are we having? So this way I know kind of wine. Should I bring red or white? And she's like, oh, we're having quail. You're having quail? I said, I don't eat quail. I don't eat quail.
I don't quail.
She's like, oh no, they're fresh. You're gonna love them. I said to her, did you get the quail out of my yard? And she said, yes.
They killed your quail.
Big. I said, you're eating my quail. I'm feeding the quail. She's like, oh, we know it's all organic.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't go to dinner. I told her, I said, I can't go to dinner. I can't come over.
Do you want to serve my dog next week?
Exactly. All right. So anyways, been estimated there are over 10,000 different bird species, and they all have their own unique sound. And so they have multiple calls and songs, what time of day it is, even when they're trying to get it on. They have different sounds. So you didn't know that. But thanks to modern technology, we can know all these fun facts. Merlin Bird ID. This is from the Cornell Lab of Ornithology. And it's actually pretty sweet. It's an app, and you record the bird sounds, and then it will tell you some possible matches. Another one is called BirdNet. They use AI, of course they do. iBird Pro, that listens to recordings of bird sounds. You didn't know all this.
These are all the names I would make up if I was making up a fake bird app.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
iBird Pro.
iBird Pro. Exactly. It's so fun. So next time you want to know what kind of bird is there, you can just record it. And again, my favorite is that Merlin Bird ID. I think that's the best app. And I saw 2 birds stuck together in a tree, and I didn't know what they were. So I just took a guess, and it turned out they were Velcros. Get it? Velcros? Like crows? I know.
Yeah, we got
explain it.
We got it.
Yeah, it's not that good of a joke. We're going to be talking more about birds with Matt, too, right?
Yes, later, but don't give it away too much. It's hilarious.
No, Not yet. All right, so tell us how to speed up our PC.
This is a super quick trick that anybody can use. It takes minutes and it'll speed up your computer quite a bit. So if you've ever noticed when you start up your PC, you'll see all those programs like pop up and it's all coming together. Well, those are all necessary, and it's really, really easy to stop some of those apps from starting on startup. So all you got to do on any PC is in the bottom corner where the search bar is, just type in startup apps. It'll then pull up the list of every single app that you have that you can toggle on or off, and that's all you need to do. Now, I think the bigger tip here is which of those do you need to turn off right away that you really don't need, that you're never going to use. So I thought I'd go through all of them and what ones you need to keep on and which ones you don't. So the ones you don't are, Cortana. How often do you turn on your PC and you're like, oh,
Literally
I have to
never.
use Cortana today, all day, every day?
No.
I love Cortana.
Yeah, of course. Another one is Skype. All these Microsoft come automatically with Skype. And I mean, we don't use Skype anymore. You use Google Meets or, you're using Zoom, but you're not using Skype very often. So turn that off. It doesn't need to be running in the background.
And that's an interesting point.
Yeah.
Because, if somebody says, let's Skype, you're like, what?
What is it, 2006?
Is that?
Jeez.
Yes, exactly. It's like somebody who has like an AOL.com email address.
Yeah.
They're just ancient. I'm sorry. And I tell people who I know, like my friend Jo, she has an AOL address and she's not ancient. I'm like,
Joe,
we need to get Joe off
upgrade.
AOL. Okay. Yes. All right. We digress.
Absolutely.
Back to you, Matt.
The next one is called Phone Link. All Microsoft products come with this app pre-installed that opens right away. It allows you to link to your phone, but if you're not doing this regularly, it does slow down your computer. So make sure you turn that off if you're not doing that all the time. Now, finally, what you need to keep. If you look on the side when you're toggling all of these toggles on and off, you will see how it impacts your computer, and it will say either low impact, medium impact, or high impact. Now, don't turn off your high impact apps. Those are what is running like your graphic processor and your browser and all that stuff. Do not turn that off. That could do serious damage to your computer. But anything that you see on there that's medium or low, it's kind of up to you. If you have a bunch of programs set to your computer, you might not know that they come up automatically at startup, and it could really be slowing down your PC. So double check those, toggle off all the lows. You probably don't use those, and then just go through the mediums. Make sure that if you really, really need it, it's on, but if not, turn it off.
That is a great tip.
Yeah, thank you.
That was really good. But it's when you were talking about like high impact, it's like, if you have to tell people that.
Sure.
I was thinking like,
hey, we would get the email that said, oh, Kim Commando, I listened to Matt tell me, and now my computer doesn't work.
I turned off the OS for some reason on startup.
Yes. What's going on with that? I just wanted to speed things up. Yeah, right. You're probably right. You're right, Al.
Yeah.
All right. So, Al, you have an insider secret to save money on subscription. This is fabulous.
I sure do. We probably all spend too much on subscriptions, and this is a little trick that can help you save, and you don't have to cancel. So if you feel like something is too expensive, you're not really getting what you want out of it anymore, maybe you do want to cancel, but start the cancellation process online. And the service will probably ask you, why are you canceling? One of the options is always, it's too expensive, or some version of that. In many cases, it will pop up with, hey, wait, we can give you a cheaper price. And then you can keep that service just like it was, but you pay less for it. Sometimes you'll get, a couple free months, whatever it is. Some companies, of course, are better than others. Some don't offer you any deal. Netflix, they don't care. They are just going to let you go. No deal, no anything from them. Yes, which they should probably rethink that. But Adobe is one that is infamous for this. So if you try to cancel, they will slice off, in some cases, like half of your subscription cost, which is a ton because Adobe is expensive.
Yeah.
Hulu, they are one that often does it. They used to offer a free month. Now what I'm seeing is $2.99 for a year. That's crazy.
Whoa.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah. So check it out. Go try to cancel your services. See what happens. And hey, if they don't offer you a deal, you don't have to cancel. You can say, I changed my mind. Or if you do cancel and you think, I want it back, who cares? Start another account. And oftentimes you can get that free, you're brand new, get a 3-month preview. So either way, you're probably going to save something.
Yeah, they always give you that 3-month preview. It's like such a sucker thing. And you're like, because 3 months later, 4 months, you're like, what's that on my bill? Where did that come from?
I know.
Hey, listen, if you like great tips like this, make sure that you get our daily podcast called the Daily Tech Update. Yes. And so wherever you get your podcast, just search for Commando with a K, and then you'll see our Daily Tech Update. All right. Coming up, I have a story from The Sun that I think you're going to really love. Yes. Matt's got the scoop on a movement online, and that's all I'm going to say. And it is not a bowel movement. And Allie's going to make us more productive, and I have a truly, truly funny joke at the end that you're going to love. Hey, are you ready to take your tech game to the next level? I know you are. Coming soon, every afternoon, we're going to send you the latest and greatest tips and tricks to help you upgrade your way through all of your gadgets and gizmos. And so from smartphones to smart homes, we totally have you covered. So sign up right now while you're thinking about it. That's going to be called the Current Tech Tips, Tech Life Hacks. And you can sign up at getkim.com. Once again, that's getkim.com. All right, I'm a sucker for The Sun. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Same.
the UK publication. So here's the headline. Billions of Android and iPhone users should never believe these 5 words. Okay.
These 5 words.
Yes. Billions of Android and iPhone owners should never believe these 5 words. Here it is. Anybody care? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know? We won't ever take it back. You're a sucker because you bought it. I mean, you know, something like that.
Your account is now locked.
I've read terms and conditions.
That would be no one ever, Matt. No one ever. But that's good. What's happening is that all these claims are coming out, these miraculous results. One product fits all. I'm talking about health claims and scientific breakthroughs. And they have bogus claims like this is an actual sentence from an email over at The Sun that they wrote about. So you got an email or a text that says, proven to treat rheumatoid arthritis, infections, prostate problems, impotency, ulcers, cancer, heart trouble, hardening of the arteries, and more.
And
What's
more?
more after that? Okay.
What's the more?
I have no idea. So the 5 words that you should you should always have to remember and not believe per The Sun is, we'll send your money back. You'll buy it now, you'll send your money back. So
Love it.
just want you to know that if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. You know, listen to your gut, don't be gullible. And meanwhile, a recent study shows that women who carry a few extra pounds around their middle tend to live longer than the men who mention it to them. Say that. All right. So, Matt, you told Allie and I about this, and I was like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah.
What is this?
You know, this Internet Scout section is going to be a little bit darker, a little bit deeper than I normally do, but I do need to talk about it. I think it's important. We have to talk about an incredibly popular movement online that is among Gen Z kids. Now, what they're claiming is that the government is spying on every single person on Earth, and it's not through your phone. It is with high-tech drone surveillance that is in everybody's neighborhood, in everybody's backyard, watching everything you do. Okay? Now, What are these high-tech drones? Birds. Now, this theory believes that every single bird on Earth during the 50s, 60s, and 70s was killed, euthanized, and replaced with high-tech drones to spy on everyone on Earth. Now, they have a ton of evidence. They talk about how they've taken pictures of birds and can see the clicking of the camera within their eyes. They have gone and protested with tens of thousands of people in Chicago and San Francisco. And I want to play you one sound from one of those protests right now.
Birds aren't real. Birds aren't real.
I am a bird truther, a person who doesn't believe in birds, and who's part of a larger movement called the Birds Aren't Real movement.
Yeah. So the movement's
Bird
called the
truther.
Birds Aren't Real movement. They believe that all birds are robots that are spying on us. Now, recently, just back in 2022, this really started to take off. It was originally started back in 2017 by Peter McIndoe and Connor Gatos. And they started this movement, and one of their biggest protests was last year in 2022, where they went and protested at the headquarters of Twitter because they were angry that their icon was a bird. And they were very
Bird
serious.
brain.
Now, they have been picked up by a ton of publications. They had a whole 60 Minutes piece that was all about their story. They had a Vice News article all about them. And just this year, they hosted a 30-minute TED Talk explaining their movement. Now, before you're sitting there and I know you're thinking, Matt, the world is going to heck and how can people actually believe this? These kids are crazy these days. I need to make you feel better by letting you know it's all a joke. It is all a parody or a parody, as I wanted to say. Yeah. They started this back with all the different conspiracy theories on it, so it's parodying all those different conspiracy movements, and they don't actually believe this. You can go watch the 30-minute TED Talk on YouTube where they start out acting very serious like I just did, and then about halfway through they're like, okay, we don't actually believe this, guys. This is just a parody.
Just kidding. I saw somebody with a birds aren't real bumper sticker and had a moment of like, oh no. But then I realized that.
Yeah. The founders actually had this same famous quote about the whole movement. They said, it's a joke that hundreds of thousands of people are in on.
But I bet you there are some people who really believe that.
Well, they probably oh yeah, absolutely.
Because they only watch half the video and they're like, all right, birds, not real. And then they move on to their next video.
We did talk about it on the show. I think I did in the last show or one of the recent shows about how in New Mexico they are taking dead birds and putting drones in there, but they're doing it for research purposes.
Yeah.
Flights.
That's what kind of brought me up to this, because I saw that video of these, dead birds that they were turning into actual drones, and then I saw it linked to the Birds Aren't Real Twitter page. So.
I did it really? Excellent.
So
That's
funny.
good. Hey, speaking of social media, make sure that you follow us. We're everywhere at Kim Commando. If you want to see more personal stuff, that's Instagram.com/Kim Commando, Twitter, Facebook, again, at Kim Commando. All right, coming up, is ChatGPT taking over, or is it just making your life a lot better? Allie's going to be telling us how we can use it to make our life simpler. And also, I just have a hilarious joke at the end you're going to love, so stay right where you are. Hey, just a reminder, you can watch all the action unfold right in front of your eyes as we record each and every episode, because you don't have to settle just for audio. You can see us. Here, look, we're waving to you right now. Head over to youtube.com/Kim Commando and hit that big old subscribe button while you're there. That's youtube.com/Kim Commando. All right, so Allie, it seems like every day you and I talk about ChatGPT and different ways that we can be using it. I mean, like this morning we were just talking about how, I mentioned it to you and you said, yeah, I do that too. Like you want somebody to grammar check or double check your work. You just put it in there and you say, hey, can you proofread this for me? It's really easy. I mean,
it really is.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it can help us be a lot more productive, right? In that case, absolutely. I thought this was so interesting. So a Fortune 500 software company, they gave their workers some kind of AI. It wasn't ChatGPT, but it was something similar. They became 14% more productive than the other workers. And it's not surprising, right? You can shortcut a lot of tasks that you might spend more time than you really need to on because it just takes time to do, but it'll take, chat a couple seconds to type up. So I thought, how can we use it to make our lives a little better, a little easier, and not work stuff? Let's just talk about life stuff. You can ask for book recommendations. I love this option. Put in your favorite books. Hey, chat, these are my 5 favorite books. Can you recommend others I would like? And you'll get a list back. You can even put in, if you have Goodreads, if you're a big reader, you can go in and put in your profile, or you can, just copy and paste all the book titles. So that's a nice one where you're just feeling a little stuck, right?
It is. That's good.
Yeah, that is helpful.
It can help you plan a trip. And we're talking like down to the minutia. Now, no, it's not going to book your flights. It isn't updated with the latest prices because it only goes back to 2021. But you can say, I've got $10,000 to spend on the trip of a lifetime. I want to check out this country. Can you help me decide what to do? And you'll get all kinds of options back of, you can go to this country and see these things. You can go here. You should do a night here. And it's actually pretty thorough and gives you a lot of examples, which is pretty fun. What about, I know I wasn't going to mention work, but work productivity, right? So what about resumes? If you're looking for work, as someone who reads a lot of resumes, I would say most people are pretty bad at writing resumes. It's hard. It's a skill. And maybe you can't afford or don't want somebody to pay somebody to do it. You can either put in your work history, or you can put in your existing resume and say, hey, can you punch this up for me? Can you look through this? Can you make it better? And it really will, which is pretty dang cool.
Nice.
One that I really like, similar to movies, you can say, or similar, to books, you can say, what are some movies? What are some bands? What's some music that I would like? So you can do the same kind of thing there. And then you can also use it to summarize videos for you that are really long. Say your friend Matt sends you a 45-minute video about birds not being real. And you're like, oh my gosh, I don't have time to watch this, but I want to, be nice to Matt. So you can put in the link, say, can you summarize this video for me? And you would know birds aren't real, but also birds are real. Yeah. But so it can summarize for you.
Love that.
Just wait till he finishes podcast.
So cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, and then 2 more quick ones. I tried these this week to see if they work well, and they do, which is pretty fun. If you are in a rut with cooking, you can say, come up with recipes for me. I put in some really specific prompts. I did a few that were like, give me a dinner recipe that's under 500 calories and has a lot of fiber, or, has a lot of protein, or this or that. And it gives you recipes just right there. And you don't have to read a whole recipe blog, which we all know is annoying. And you can do the same with workouts. I asked, hey, what's a good 5K walk plan if I want to be able to walk a 5K? Hey, it gave me a plan. Love that.
I know.
So
you
cool.
shared that with me. Well, the recipes, when you shared the recipe, I'm like, hey, that looks pretty good.
I thought that too. They all looked good.
They did. They look, we should put these up on this would be a fun thing to put in like the new tips newsletter.
Yeah, we can do that for sure.
I think that would be great.
Yeah.
And that was just a subtle plug, by the way, for everybody who's not signed up. I don't know if it wasn't that subtle that you need to sign up now at getkim.com because, when you say Kim Komando subtlety, I think goes right next to no? Okay. All right. Okay, so I know it wasn't a happy thing. So we talked about obituaries at the beginning, and I thought it would be kind of fun to talk about obituaries at the end. Okay, so here's my joke. I think it's really good, and I laughed out loud. Okay, you ready? A woman from the deepest, most southern part of Alabama, she goes to the local newspaper office to see that the obituary of her recently deceased husband was written. The obituary editor informs her that the cost for the obituary is 50 cents a word. She's like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of money. So just have it read, Billy Bob died. And the guy says, you know what, I'm sorry, ma'am, I can't write that. We have a 7-word minimum on all obituaries. He needs at least 7 words. And she gets a little flustered. She thinks things over, and she looks at him, and she says, okay, if you really need 7 words, not just Billy Bob died, why don't you just put this in the paper? Billy Bob died, 2003 truck for sale.
That's a good joke.
That is a good one.
I thought that was a good one.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, if you have any comments, whatever, make sure that you can always drop them over at podcasts@komando.com, podcasts@komando.com. And be sure you tell 3 people about our podcast. But before we leave, Matt, startup, fast, easy way to do it.
All you got to do, go to the bottom corner, type in startup apps, and you can see all the apps that come up at startup. Do it. It's really helpful.
And just a reminder, leave all the high impact items turned on. Yes. How about you, Allie?
I think you should definitely go try to cancel your streaming services. At worst, nothing happens. At best, you save a bunch of money.
I think my tip is that if you feed the birds in your yard and your neighbor asks you over for dinner, you might want to say, you know what,
they are real.
Lasagna would be nice. Lasagna would be great. Hey, thanks for listening, and make sure that you check us out online, wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for Komando with a K because you can get all of our podcasts. And be sure that you give us a nice 5-star review because maybe we'll read it here on the air, and you can hear your name, and you'll be like up in podcast lights, maybe? Anyway, we'll see you here next week.
This program is a copyrighted production of Westar Multimedia Entertainment and protected by the copyright laws. Any rebroadcast or use of this program for commercial, business, economic, or financial purposes without the written permission of Westar Multimedia Entertainment is strictly prohibited.
I am a bird truther, a person who doesn't believe in birds, and who's part of a larger movement called the Birds Aren't Real movement.